Hey, it's Tara with Reiki on the Run, and I want to do a video today about getting offended. I see it a lot these days, more and more so the longer the internet has been around, and it's something I used to struggle with a lot, and I thought it would be a good conversation to have today. So I'll talk about three reasons why a lot of us do it. There's plenty. And then I'll just talk about why we shouldn't be doing it and just give you some perspectives on some things that might help shift your thinking when it comes to taking offense to things. So the first reason a lot of people take offense to things is because they like to take the moral high ground. They base their offense taken on them having better, higher morals than someone else, thinking their version is correct and maybe that someone else's isn't. Another is that misery loves company, and it's easy to connect with people. It's like gossiping. When people gossip together, it's a thing people can do with other people, and it gives them a common ground, to sit and bitch about the things going on in their life, and so it's an easy connector with people. And also, my personal biggest struggle was that I did not think highly of myself, and I took everything personally. That everything was directed towards me, and it was just a direct reflection of how I felt about myself. So let's talk about why we should not get offended at everything or anything. First of all, let's get this clear. Being offended is a choice that you make. No one can offend you without your permission, period. You get to decide on how you react to everything in your life, and that includes being offended by something someone else does, no matter what it is. And that is a choice that you make, a conscious choice. Well, maybe a subconscious choice, but now it will be a conscious choice because you know that it is your choice. The next thing, it allows others to control you. So when you are basing or requiring your happiness and joy to hinge on how someone else acts, that's really giving up your power and saying that, my happiness, my joy, my peace depends on the way you act, so you need to act correctly in the way that I want you to so that I can be happy, peaceful, enjoy, whatever, and that's just not true. You don't want to allow others to determine when and how you feel what you feel. It's just like getting into a relationship. You cannot rely on the other person to be your source of happiness. That has to come from within. Same thing with love. That has to come from within to be sustainable, because nobody else is going to do everything you need them to do all the time. That's just not going to happen. So it really, really is important to not get offended. You can't control everybody and what they do, and make sure everyone says the right things and acts the right way. So that's something that needs to come within. The next one, you really got to stop caring what other people think. I just did a whole video on that. I think it was my very last video. Check that out. Really true. If you did not care what other people thought, and that's, about you and just in general. It's none of your business what other people think about anything, about you, about anything else. They're entitled to their opinion, and shouldn't be a concern of yours. Nobody gets to tell you what to think. You don't get to tell them what to think. It's simple as that. So stop caring what other people think. Oftentimes, it's just your perception. Sometimes if you think negatively of yourself, or if you are in the habit of thinking negatively in general, you can perceive everything around you to be at a personal attack, which was huge for me. I used to always take everything personal. Everything was against me. And you can see that, and you can go to a restaurant and with a friend or something, and you think it's a horrible experience, and they thought it was a great experience. It's all your perception. And you get to choose that. Once you realize that that's what's going on and how you are perceiving things, you can go in and change that. Change your feelings about yourself and other things, and so that you're not perceiving everything in such a negative manner. The next thing, nothing constructive happens when you get offended. Usually, it's just being offended is being triggered. I think the only thing that triggers me is that word. I don't know why. But when you are offended by something, it sparks your fight or flight. And so either you're going to get snappy with somebody, which is not good. That's not constructive. Or maybe you're not a confrontational person and you're just going to internalize it, which can be even worse. But it's never constructive. When you get offended by something, nothing good ever comes out of it. Maybe a fight comes out of it. Maybe you feeling like shit comes out of it. Maybe your anger comes out of it. But it's never anything constructive. I mean, unless you found a way to turn things into, when you do get offended, into you finding a way to help that situation and change it. But then you probably wouldn't need this video. But really nothing's going to come out of being offended. It really, really is not constructive. And the next thing is, it's not about you. Like I said earlier, I tended to make everything about me and take everything personal. And really it's not. 9 times out of 10, you think something's about you. It's not. So it's a good idea to get that out of your head too. It's not all about you. It's not always about you. Usually about people themselves. Thing is, it's usually when I lash out at someone. I've told my kids this before. If I get mad and yell, and I'll tell them it has nothing to do with you. I acted that way because of my own issues, not because of something you did. And that's what it is. When somebody is mouthing off or saying things or going crazy, it's just a reflection of what's going on in their world. It's not personal to you. Like I said in my last video, people don't even know you. There's a good chance. So just try not to internalize everything and make everything about you, because it really, really isn't. The next thing, why it's not a good idea to get offended, is such a low vibration emotion or activity. Being offended. I mean, it's really down there. It's a slight to you. It's just a negative energy to sit in. And when you sit in that, like attracts like. We're a vibrational universe. And as you're emitting that shitty, offended energy, that's what we get back. So you want to emit, those good energy things as often as possible. So taking this thing off your list would be really, really helpful if it's something that you struggle with. The next thing is that we all have different truths. So understanding that there's a big world out there. Big, big world. Now, I was exposed to this from a young age. My dad was in the military, and so I often went to schools with other kids that had parents in the military. And what that did, and I also grew up in Europe, and what that did was expose me to a lot of different people, a lot of different cultures. People dressed different, they ate different things, they thought different ways, and I know that's, not everyone gets exposed to that. And so it's good to realize that there's many different truths. And just because something is a truth to you doesn't necessarily mean it is to someone else. I think of an example in Mexico. Most places, I don't want to say most because I don't know if that's a fact, but a lot of places, probably most, you don't put toilet paper in the toilet because the pipes here can't handle it. It's just the way it is. But I have seen people write nasty comments online about Mexican people who are in other countries who don't put the toilet in toilet paper, and they assume that these people are just nasty. Now, that's your truth. If you think that that's nasty that someone does that, that's your truth. 100% that's your truth. However, it's also their truth that there's no other option, that that's what you have to do. And if you don't, you'll break the system. So it's just an interesting way to think, everything that we believe is just a reflection of how we were raised, the people we've been exposed to and listened to, the people who guided us, things we've experienced in our day-to-day lives. Someone who has had their spouse cheat on them or physically abuse them. Things like this are going to change how you react, change the way you think about things. So all of our truths are different. Now, you might not see that if you live in a place where you've lived your whole life and you don't really get out and you're totally happy with where you are, and everybody kind of thinks the same, and all your friends on Facebook think the same, and so you can't really understand that there would be so many different truths, but there really are. And so it's nice if you can kind of grasp that idea and that understanding, because maybe it can relax you a little on what you consider moral or right, or just you don't know. You don't know what everyone else has been exposed to, their experiences in life. So just take a step back and know that there are many truths, and your truth is not always going to be someone else's. Some people in some countries eat some things that other people would never even dream of eating, and but it's totally normal to those people. So just take a step back. As long as you're solid in your truths and you're standing up for them and to them and being who you think is right, that's all that matters. You don't need to control how everyone else thinks and what their truths are. And if you do, getting offended completely cuts off any opportunity for dialogue, for discussion, for understanding, for growth, for learning new things. And that's with you learning something new, or you maybe showing something new to someone. If you're offended by something, maybe you need to have a conversation. For many reasons, it's a good idea to know why the person thinks that thing you disagree with, or maybe because you can show them what you believe. But by getting offended, getting into that energy, nothing gets solved that way. Nothing new happens. Nothing better happens. So anyway, just know that there are a lot of different truths, and yours isn't that for everybody. So next thing, you usually don't know their intent. I don't know how many times I've said something, and as it comes out, as I'm saying it, it is not how it sounded when I thought it before I said it. Or I can just hear when it comes out, like I can just hear the other person hearing it wrong, and you're just like, ah. And so aside from that, you just don't know what everybody's intent is. And I feel like the world has gotten, with the internet and the polarity that's going on right now, I think people have gotten so quick to judge and not thinking about or even caring about what someone's intent was. That used to be important, what someone's intent was. And now you can get called names for just saying something that you think is true or shouldn't be a problem if taken in the right context. So know that you don't know everyone's intent. I like to think about getting cut off. I've cut people off in traffic before and not even realized it. And I've also been flying to the hospital and cut someone off and still didn't mean it. But I got a call at work that my son busted his head open and they were going to the hospital. So you never know. You never know what's going on in somebody's world. That's why I try not to get mad. I haven't driven in, a year and a half, but I try not to get upset when someone cuts me off because I don't know. Probably they're not just pissed at me for no reason and want to be an asshole and cut me off. Probably not their intent. Very good chance they didn't realize they cut me off. Maybe they're on their way to the hospital. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe somebody just broke up with them and they're not paying attention properly. You just don't know their intent. So not a good idea to assume the worst. really good to assume the best. Like I said, you're the one, this is all in your head, everything is mental, so you're getting offended is all has to do with you, nobody else. And you get to choose how you respond to things. And if you want good things in your life, you've got to shift out of that negativity, that constant so you can assume their intent was good. Okay, but you don't know. So even if you can't think of a way that could possibly have been meant as good, just you don't know. Okay, and then the last one, if they were being just an asshole and you're sure of it and you know it, don't get offended, it'll drive them nuts. If somebody is that much of an asshole that they're gonna intentionally be horrible to you, say something nasty to you, screw them. Don't take offense, because it'll piss them off. It'll drive them crazy. So, if not doing it for yourself and your peace, just do it so it'll piss them off. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, those are all the reasons I have. And I just want to say too, just give you one tip to help. And that's to drop your expectations and judgments. I think a lot of us expect way too much from everyone all the time. I try to do my best all the time and not be an asshole. And most of the time, I'm good at that. But sometimes I don't. We all have bad days. We all have bad times. And maybe somebody else is going through that. So just drop your expectations from everyone. Like I said earlier, don't expect other people to conform and act in a way that you will be at peace, because that's not how it works. The peace has to come within. Be the change you wish to see in the world. That's what that means. Be peaceful within. Everything around you, as above, so below, everything around you will appear more peaceful. It will be more peaceful, because that's the vibration you're emitting. So a mantra that I really like to use is, it just is. It just is. And I used to hang on to that mantra anytime shit didn't go my way, which seemed like all the damn time. And so I would just repeat that over and over again. And usually the first 20 seconds of saying it, it felt fake and bullshitty, and I was pissed. So it's not, it just is. But once you start getting into that vibration, especially the more you use it, it just is. It just is. No judgment. It just is. Because it is. Things are just the way they are. And if you can control your response to everything, that it just is. It's okay. Everything is okay. It's fine. It just is. It just is. And I repeat that over and over again. And that really, really helped a lot. So if you find yourself getting in that energy, if you find yourself getting offended, don't try to figure it out. It just is. It just is. Say that to yourself over and over again. And after a minute or so, your energy will calm down. You'll be in a better place. And that's what we want, right? Okay, I hope this has helped. If you like this video, I have books for sale and workbooks. Might help you, might enjoy. I've left the link below, and I will talk to you soon.